I'm Mr. D, and today we're going to talk about Manchester City. And the main question is whether Manchester City is in crisis. This is something that's been talked about by quite a few people. The media certainly have had their go. They have actually already laid out the narrative um, that City is in crisis. And I've taken time, one second. I've taken some time out to think about this and come up with some sort of explanation as to what happened or what is happening with City. So, what's going on with City? It appears that from the performances that they had last season, there has been a major shift, a major shift in terms of result, a major shift in terms of perception or motivation, and a major shift in terms of how strong perhaps Liverpool are top of the league with 42 points, Arsenal 40, Villa 39, Tottenham 36, City 30. Wow. So City is trailing almost 8 points, I think 8 points behind Liverpool. I, I keep on saying that Liverpool, Arsenal are the two serious contenders for the title. And a lot of my City fellow supporters just keep saying, well, it always worked like that. Well, it's always been like that. Well, Arsenal does well in the first half of the season and always perform poorly in the second part of the season. What about Liverpool then? If they say that and I agree with them and I say, okay, yes, it's fine. What you say there, that's what we've seen over the years. But what about Liverpool? Do they fit into that pattern or that behavior, into that kind of template? Can we see that Liverpool actually fits into that narrative? I'm yet to find someone who says that for some reason, City players or City fans choose to ignore the kind of consistency of Liverpool, the strength that Liverpool has. They kind of choose to not acknowledge the danger that Liverpool represent in terms of winning the league, or at the very least, making sure that City doesn't win. Because it's going to have to be one of those two. So out of Arsenal and Liverpool, one will win and the other might stop City from winning. Yeah, it might sound a little bit strange. Look at Aston Villa. They've stopped City, one of the rare teams that stopped City this season. Beat City where? At home? That doesn't really happen. Those are signs that tell you that there is a problem. Now, what is the problem? What is the problem? The problem is a change of personnel. One of the problems that I've managed to identify so far is a change of personnel. You have Gondwan, major player, major loss for City. He was scoring goals, not just any goals, but he was scoring goals that matter. He was scoring goals that get us the win. Like most of these games the City played, and the margin is so small between victory and defeat. And with a player like Gondwan, you would have had those games where City drew, the games where City lost by 1 point or by one goal or so. You would have had those games scoring differently if somebody like Gondwan was there. Now you've got that kid called what do they call him again? Doku. He does score goals. He does. But if you look carefully, he doesn't score those essential goals, those goals that are game changers, those goals that are kind of driving the result in a complete different way. Yes. So what have we got? We've got Gondwan who's gone. We've got Mahrez who's gone. But Mahrez, he could have gone. But it's Gondwan. For me, that is the problem. Because you got rid of Palmers. Palmers went to team up with Sterling. And they actually caused some damage to City. And I've said, well, I think that game against Chelsea, you can consider that as a defeat because the game that we were winning, we were comfortable, but not comfortable, but game that we should have won, that City should have won, and they didn't. And at the end, it felt like a defeat. It felt like, a bad result, a very bad result. Look at Chelsea. They lose against no names. They lose, but someone's going to say, yeah, but it's Chelsea. They go. I don't care. I don't care whether it's Chelsea. So we lost Palmers. Sold him for like 40 million. Palmers leaving Chelsea would be sold for at least 80 million. What kind of business was that City did there? They should not have sold Palmers. They should have played him. Once again, City has got to change the way they do the business of exploiting or utilizing the academy players. They don't seem to do that enough. And often it's the case of these young players coming through and being sent on loan or being sold completely. All the hard work that was done on them is not beneficial to City in a shape of them bringing or helping City to bring some more silverware. No, it's just they just become an asset, something to sell or to get rid of or something of that sort because they don't want to give them game time. And young people, they crave for game time. They want game time. They want to play. They don't want to be sitting on the bench and getting paid. They want to play. So then I have to consider the fact that, in a way, City got found out how to play, so people got better at pairing off with City. People got better, the other team got better at fighting City. They just got better. But because City doesn't have the personnel, they are a little bit in on kind of uncharted territory here. The other one that I can see as an explanation is that City might be the victim of their own success. When you win so many, you end up having to deal with injuries. That's one thing. The other one that you end up dealing with is more games, which in turns bring you more injuries. So they had some injuries with Kevin De Bruyne. Now they got Grealish. They had Grealish. They had what's the other defender? Stones. Basically, the main characters. We bear in mind that Gondwan is not there. Mahrez is not there. They're gone. Is it Cancelo? He's gone. So they don't have those solid players that they had to help them drive the team forward. And they don't have De Bruyne and stuff. So it is understandable why they don't get results. But even the City second team is not a small side. City second team can take on any side in the Premier League. So why should we use that as an excuse? The second team should just come on there and play the game. The second team should just come on there and do the job. They're all wearing the same shirt. Why aren't they doing it? So the other kind of reason why City is getting such bad results or are in bad shape is because of the manager. I know a lot of City fans will not admit this, but we've got a manager that is really, really stubborn. Like, you would think he would do something differently. Excuse me 1 minute. You think he would change his way, that when something is not working, that he would change a player? Oh no, he does something else. He will do something else completely. Something unexpected, something unwarranted, something unqualified, something bizarre. Guardiola is that stubborn. He's that kind of some people say that he says himself, he says, when I try plan B, plan A, there's no plan B. There's just plan A plus. So I just do more of plan A. If it doesn't work, I do even more of plan A. So that's what it is. I remember the game in the Champions League where he sat Aguero on the bench and played Sterling, and Sterling was awful, and he wouldn't change and put Aguero. He was praising Aguero in the previous game against Newcastle where Aguero scored 2 goals being a substitute. And he said that Aguero is irreplaceable. But then comes the Champions League final, he doesn't play Aguero. What is that? I mean, you sit there, you watch the game. Even a 5-year-old, I was watching the game that day with some 12, 11-year-old who were mourning that City's awful. But the manager couldn't see that. He couldn't tell how awful City was. They couldn't even get the ball on target in the goals. So that is how stubborn Guardiola can be. He's a good manager, but sometimes he overcook his own food. Sometimes he does. So consistency means some consistency in result, meaning you're winning, you're winning, you're winning. At the very least, sometimes you draw. But consistency also means that you don't lose your home games. You don't lose those games you play in your own ground. But what do we see? City's lost game at home, and that is depressing. And the feeling is not there. The feeling is not there. Because it's hard. Once you won 3 trophies, there is that pressure that comes into it. The pressure that tells you, oh, well, you've got to do it again. And that pressure can be counterproductive. It can be misleading. It can be the wrong type of pressure applied. So I want City to win the league. Why not win the Champions League? The problem is they're conceding too many goals. They are conceding too many goals. And you cannot be successful in the Champions League if you concede so many goals. That's just fact. They have to stop conceding goals. Hopefully, with the return of Stones, we'll see City conceding less goals. There's also a little bit of of good news with that Club World Cup, where City actually beat is an South American team. 3-0. That's encouraging. But consistency means from that game they can come on to the champion to the league and continue to win. But are they going to continue to win? Questions. So I've always called myself a Warrior City fan, and I don't think that will change now. I will still call myself a Warrior City fan because I don't see a path to success here with Guardiola. Guardiola's way of thinking and his approach to the academy player, his approach to actually managing games, or when plan A doesn't work, when something strange happens, what does he do? That's the question. So I will leave you with that in mind, and I will hope that you get involved in the comment section below and tell us what you think. Tell us who is your favorite to win the league. Is it Liverpool? Is it Arsenal? Or is it City? Is it even a 3-horse race? Or is it a 2-horse race? Those are the questions that you've got to tackle or try to answer in the comment section below so that the debate can continue. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for commenting. I'll see you in the next podcast. That's the ultimate podcast. The ultimate live podcast by Mr. D. I'll have a guest next time. Between now and then, keep it nice. Happy New Year and happy Christmas.